Welcome back to South Baltimore Now, where we continue to paddle into the stories shaping our community. You like that little pun there, Kev?
I do.
Probably going to be more in the rest of this episode. This week, we're focusing on the water and the organizations connecting us to it. Joining us are Ray Scurr, president of the Canton Kayak Club, and Rob Bennett, VP of Communications. Both are board members, and they're going to share their insights into kayaking in and around Baltimore and the club's effort and what they're doing to gain new members and advocate for the waterways here around the city. So we're going to be discussing how they make the waterfront accessible and fostering a sense of community through their activities. Let's get started and dive right in. Rob, Ray, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for bringing us here. This is a great opportunity.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it. So, Kev, have you been kayaking before?
I don't know if it was a kayak or a canoe, but it's been a long time, and I'm excited to learn why I should be doing it more often.
I hear that. It does seem like a fun way to get some exercise, get out there in the water, have some fun. I've been rowing before, but I've actually never been kayaking, so I'm curious to learn more as well. Rob, Ray, thank you both so much for joining us. And just to get started, could you introduce us to Canton Kayak Club and what's your mission and who are you trying to serve?
Sure thing, Nate. Canton Kayak Club's been around since 2002, so we've been offering this service for greater Baltimore area for more than 20 years now. It's been a service to members because they don't have to purchase or store or transport a kayak. They can just use ours, which are like next to the water. It means it makes it much more accessible for those who are not necessarily familiar with kayaking to get down and get on the water quickly and get out regularly. Because we are offering it as a kayak-share program. It's unique in that sense. You don't see that in other locations. Usually the kayak club, we have to buy a kayak. But it gives you more freedom because of this, so that compared to like a kayak rental place that you have to look at the clock, you're out there in the water, you don't have to look at that. You can sunrise, you can get out there all the way to sunset and go as far as you want, and as often as you want.
Interesting.
Very cool. And I know you have one of your new locations is at Baltimore Peninsula. There's a lot of new things down there, including Canton Kayak Club. So tell us about that location.
We just set up that location just last season. We're really excited about it because of the proximity to other restaurants in the area, so it's easy to get to and go out for a paddle, come back and have a drink afterwards or dinner afterwards at Rice Street Tavern or other locations. It's a great opportunity down there. It's also a part of the harbor that's quieter out on the water. You don't have as much traffic, like commercial traffic we're talking about. So it's a calmer environment to be out in. And there's other locations you can paddle out to. You can go all the way over to Masonville Cove, which is a nature reserve that was set up. They have like eagles nesting, if you will. You can go out there and take a look at them. Or to Middle Branch Park. There's another kayak launch that you can actually come up on and leave it at, and then wander around the park there. And then you can also go to Nick's Fish House and paddle over to Nick's Fish House.
Awesome. That sounds like a great day. And then I know you have some new access going on at Fells Point. So tell us about that location.
So with Fells Point, we have a brand new dock there. And it's a long time coming that we were able to have this really expansive luxury dock to it. We made an agreement with Waterfront Partnership over it so they use it for Harbor Splash. This past season, you saw that on the news. So we expect Harbor Splash to happen this coming year as well. It's really about promoting access on the water and just getting out there. For Waterfront Partnership, they're interested in having the harbor being swimmable, which is great for us. We just want it to be paddleable kind of thing. And it's a different level, but it's a great partnership because of this.
Yeah, and that's a really fun location because we have all the stuff in Fells Point. We do coffee at 7 a.m. at Daily Grind after kayaking. Pretty fun to have it there and have all the city at your feet.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Waterfront Partnership and their Healthy Harbor Initiative, they've been working hard for many years to make the inner harbor more swimmable, more fishable. And obviously they did the Harbor Swim event last year. Have you guys seen any increased interest in kayaking with the improved water quality?
Ever since COVID had this quarantine effect on everyone. And then everyone was looking to get outside, whether it be biking or hiking, camping, anything outdoorsy. So we had a surge of membership coming out of COVID. And that has lasted until this past season, if you will, in terms of like interest of just getting outside. So like tying this back, every year Waterfront Partnership does the Baltimore Flotilla, which is about 300 paddlers come together and paddle from Canton Waterfront Park down to the inner harbor. And so this is in early June timeframe on a Saturday morning to go down there and go down to they bring in Mr. Trashwheel into the inner harbor and have a band on it. So you can go sit there from kayak, listen to the band, and then go back and there's an after party back in Canton Waterfront Park.
And that's June 14th this year, by the way.
June 14th, you say?
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Oh, it is so much fun.
And let's say somebody's like myself, doesn't really know how to kayak or hasn't been on a kayak in a long time, how do they safely get started with kayaking?
As well, I'll tell you, many members start off that way, that they're maybe been out once or twice, but haven't really gotten serious about it, but they're interested in it and they would like to get out more often. They look at the like renting a kayak being an expensive option, and they say, maybe if I just join the club for the season, I'll get out more often because you can take it out as many times as you like and get my skills up, get more confidence on it. And the club offers an onboarding process with the training, if you will. So it starts you off with training right off the bat to get safe. And then it's just matter, we have socials to go out with as group outings so that you go out with others. And we have a forum to find those other people. And then we have scheduled times to go out and sign up for a group outing. So it allows you to get out with a group, get to know a paddling area better, get confidence in it so that you can go out by yourself.
Obviously, you guys aren't just in downtown Baltimore. Talk us about some of your other locations and some of the cool things people can explore.
Our locations extend from Annapolis all the way up to the Susquehanna River. And so we have quite a variety of locations to go explore, and each one is very different. It's right at the top of it is Delta, PA, so it's another state, but it's on the Susquehanna River. And the beauty is that you can kayak across the Susquehanna River. This is just north of the power plant. And there's these little islands. So it's a whole different world up there in terms of kayaking, these little houses on these little islands, and you can go explore between them. You'll find little nooks and crows to go explore, and it's really exciting. Otherwise, you can go across to the other side where it's called Muddy Creek, and you can go up Muddy Creek, and it just gets smaller and smaller. And this is where you eventually meet the whitewater kayakers coming down the creek because they take the rapids down, but you can start seeing and watch them come down. Just north of that is Holtwood Dam, and they have a rodeo up there to go watch for the whitewater kayakers to do flips and such to see what it's like, because they open up the sluice at certain times of year, and then they practice for training purposes, and it's just a great event to be part of.
Yeah, one of our coolest locations is Curtis Creek, Sully's Point, where you can actually kayak to the ghost ships, which are only accessible by kayak. And they're all these ships that were basically made in World War I and then sunk because by the time they were made, they were no longer seaworthy or worth the trouble of sending over.
Interesting.
I like Sully's Cove. That's over in Curtis Bay we're talking about. So the Coast Guard's over there. But there's also a couple restaurants you can just paddle over to and come up by the beach, stop off, have something to eat, and then paddle back.
Yeah, we do that often.
Ram's Head Docks Ride is an example.
And have you guys done all those? Have you been around? Have you kayaked all over and tried out every docking location?
We've been around, yes. I'd say there's lots of opportunities to go explore. That's what I'll tell you.
Yep.
Go ahead and sell the hobby for us. Why should people that are not kayaking, why should they want to hop on a kayak?
I think people come to kayaking for a variety of reasons. It starts with this idea of wanting to paddle and get on the water. But once they get on the water, they discover a whole new world. So they either get intrigued with the environmental side of it, which is why is the water quality the way it is? What's being done about it, and learn about that aspect. Or they're looking about the historical aspect of it. What's that building over there? Or why is that ship there, is historic ship? And so they start understanding more about the history. We have Fort McHenry there as an example. And coming up on the water, there's just no substitute. You get a sense of what it was like at that time.
Yeah, and I think it definitely gives you a different viewpoint of the city. As you see the city from the water is a lot different than seeing the city from land, which is really cool. And to me, there's a certain sense of zen being on the water, especially at sunrise. So that's my favorite thing to do is sunrise paddles throughout the season. And then it became a community thing because more people joined for those things, which is another, I think, important part of why I'm in the club, just really to build that community and be part of that community.
Rob, you bring up an interesting point because you always do it at sunrise. You like getting out at sunrise. Baltimore Peninsula need a plug-in for Eastern water sports. So they have rentals there. And we love having a rental place next to us because it means our members can then bring a non-member in and they could rent something and to go out together. However, the only thing you have to be aware of is that they don't have staffing until 10 a.m., even during the season. So you would never get out there for a sunrise paddle because there's just no one there. And that's always been the challenge, if you will, is trying to figure out how best to partner so we can get more groups out there paddling.
What are some of the most common misconceptions new members might have, or just people in general when it comes to kayaking? Are there certain misconceptions around what it's like on the water, or maybe how easy or difficult it is to kayak? Or
So Nate, that's a great point, Nate. I like it. So the thing is, most people come with this first misconception about the club. They think it's somehow a kayak rental place. And I'm like, we don't function like a kayak rental. And it provides different freedoms than you would get from it. You don't have to watch the clock. You just have to watch sunrise. If it's sunsetting or sunrise, that's what you're looking at. The other misconception is that many people fear that they're going to fall in. I'm like, okay. Or they can't get on the water if they can't swim. I'm like, no, that's not true. As long as you can put on the life jacket properly, you will float. And that's what you do on a boat. So it's the same difference. Is you just learn to put it on properly. you can overcome that. And we provide the safety because we want people to go out in numbers. Many people go out by themselves, don't get me wrong, but we encourage people to go out in groups, especially if they're new. And it allows to have a safety factor to it all because then you have someone else you can rely on. And so this is how you overcome the fear of getting on the water and how far you go. The other thing we would tell people is to stick closer to the shore if you're new, because it's shallower water. It's easy ditch kind of thing if you need to, if weather comes up. And then rather than being in the middle of the harbor, if you will, which is a long way from everywhere. So there's various ways to adapt to it. And you're slowly getting in and learning to manage your risks, if you will. And this is what we're trying to do with our training is get people more risk aware and situationally aware. And eventually they become more and more adept at managing their own risk levels to it. And it's whatever level they're comfortable with. Some people like rough weather. Other people avoid it like the plague. It's fine.
Okay. So you're saying so folks could come when they become members, they join, they know they're going to get the safety training on how to get out there, especially if you're new, and you're going to be able to go to any one of these docks.
Yeah, at any time during the daylight, you can go there. And the other thing I would mention is we don't allow our members to go out when there's a small craft advisory issued from National Weather Service. That's our advice. And it's prudent advice because it avoids any kind of serious weather out there. And you're not likely to be hit by a pop-up because of that. So that's the logic of it. It can happen that it gets issued while you're out. And it's like, how do you monitor for that? So there's ongoing challenges of being able to read the weather and get better about it. But that takes time. And it just means by getting out there more often, you're more likely to develop these skills and you'll better manage your risk to itself. And so you'll overcome it, you'll build confidence. And what we end up doing is we offer like a rescue class, which is about how to fall out of the boat and get back in. And after you go through that, you feel much improvement and confidence about getting on the water because you know what you need to do. And you know what the skill sets are needed to make it happen. So then it's okay. Like you can go out and you have that confidence you wouldn't have otherwise. So it builds your skill set. But what I'll tell you is people come to the water for different reasons. So I say they start off by coming to paddle. But the reality is we have people who only want to come and they don't really need to paddle anywhere. They just need to be on the water and just sit there and be meditative. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have people who like doing wildlife photography. They want to come out with their cameras and get up close to the wildlife. Nothing wrong with that. We have people who want to come and exercise, do like training kind of thing or therapy kind of thing. So they do that. Some people only go a short distance. Some people go longer distances. And over time, people go up like 10 mile at a time. And so it varies quite a bit of what members are looking for. And it starts off as recreational kayaking and then slowly bends into like sea kayaking because we have both types. We also have this idea of fishing. Middle Branch is great for fishing. You see all these people fishing all around. So I'm like, we don't have any fishing kayaks there currently. But we certainly want to keep that in mind where our next location in that area is to put fishing kayaks there so that people can get out there and get close to the fish. So there's different reasons for getting on the water, if you will. And it's to each his own. Like there's different pockets in there. Some people just want to go out bird watching. I know that Water Taxi is doing a run for the Maryland bird watching group in the next month or so. And so they're on the water looking for birds. And I'm like, you can do that by kayak as well. And you probably see more birds that way than having a motor running behind you.
Yeah.
So there's this logic to it. Oh, it's a no-brainer to get out there, and that kind of peace of mind starts with it. Taking you out of your environment, let your stresses go, start relaxing on the water. And then you discover more things about on the water and you get intrigued and you want to research things like, what is this doing here? What's the story behind this area? So in the area, there's like Middle Branch. I've been involved with South Baltimore Gateway Partnership, and they took me on a tour. They do these regular tours to talk about all the products they're doing. So they talk about development like on Glass Beach. There was a glass factory there. They have this marina there that's been taken over for equitable justice. There's a lot of different projects that are running in Middle Branch right now that are fascinating to look at and see how it's going. They're planning on building out like a White Sox memorial for Baltimore White Sox that used to exist that don't exist currently. There's a lot of opportunities, and they're building a corridor from Middle Branch Park, it's the Gwynns Falls Trail, all the way down to Masonville Cove. Masonville Cove is interesting because it's part of the Port of Baltimore. They do all the dredging and then they do reclamation of the dredging. They've turned it into a natural reserve. So there's trails and there's birding, and U.S. Fish and Wildlife's out there, and they have the bio blitz. So they show you what wildlife is out there. They capture it, show it to you, and then release it. So they like have these snapping turtles that they catch every year and they show them to you. It's hilarious. They've been doing it for years, but it's the same turtles that they catch. So it's fascinating to learn who your real neighbors are there in terms of the wildlife. And it's fascinating though what they do. They capture and tag monarch butterflies and they fly all the way down to Mexico, but they don't always come back. And this is what's interesting to me. It's, oh, I didn't know that. Like, how do they know where to go? There's all these things that are still unknown. What I'll tell you is kayaking starts getting you to places that you wouldn't otherwise seek out. And it allows you to go explore what you're interested in, whether it be on the environmental side or the historic side. There's lots to look at.
Our training for new members is pretty intense. It's like a 3-hour session. It's not like here's a boat, jump in. It's actually a very thorough and very positive experience that gives people the confidence to get on the water. So I think that's an important thing to know.
Ray, could you touch a little bit on the partnerships that you've built around the city and the different organizations and how that's helped you guys out?
For us to exist means that we have to do a lot in the way of partnerships. So all our locations require partnerships, whether it be MAG Partners for Baltimore Peninsula is our partner, whether it be Anne Arundel County, Rexon Park for our locations like Sully's Cove or Homeport Farms or Downs Park, or in Dundalk, we have Hard Yacht Cafe that we partnered with to have a location there. So there's ongoing efforts to maintain these partnerships and build out the club's access points. And so there's this aspect of the effort that goes into that is significant. So we have high hopes of having a location down in Rash Field with the help of Waterfront Partnership. They already have designs of putting in one at Rash Field right in the Rusty Scupper area to launch kayaks from. I am hoping to put CKC kayaks on that rack, on that location, that floating dock, with the support of the city of Baltimore. So they have to be okay with me doing that. But it means there'll be one more place you could potentially walk over there, drop in, paddle around the inner harbor, and go explore the inner harbor. And you would find things like National Aquarium now has a wetland area that you can go explore from the water. And so it gives you opportunities to go explore the nooks and crannies of the harbor that you wouldn't otherwise see. And you wouldn't know it's there until you go out and see. Oh, there's a falconry nest right there. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the club's been very supportive, and Ray specifically is involved with the Baltimore Blueway, which to me is the next logical step. I think not enough Baltimore people understand how important the water is to them and what an unused resource it is for the city. So the more we can expand that, I think the better off we are for everybody that lives here.
Definitely want to tell people how they can find you, how they can get signed up. Are there any deals or discounts going on right now? Any early bird sign up specials, things like that?
So we have an early bird discount. It's on our website. eBird-25 is the coupon code for this coming year. That's good until March 1st. That gets you $15 off a membership for this upcoming season. We offer it every year as a standard affair. So between November and March 1st, this is what's available. So,
and it's CantonKayakClub.com.
All right. Guys, this has been very insightful, and this is the most I've ever learned about kayaking myself. So you have me inspired here to want to dive in and put on my life vest and go for it, especially when you talk about seeing nature and some of the historical aspects. I really hadn't put myself in the boat before to envision like being out there and just how like peaceful it must be and just a different perspective. So thank you guys for being here, and wish you the best of luck, and we're here to help you.
Thanks a lot for having us. Appreciate it.